Hello, fellow writers. I'm Lewis. That over there is Tolkien. And you found the Scripturian Society. And also we have a special guest whose nickname I'm forgetting. I mean, I know her real name.
Before I got here, I was like, I should look it up and try and remember what it is.
That's right. You were some kind of royalty.
Yeah, he
some
was
kind of
aristocracy.
Well, how about just the Duke, which is really good, I think.
I actually like that.
The Duke is
Who
good.
Who cares if they were actually in the Inklings, you know?
Yeah,
we're just doing it.
It's symbolic
Inklings
of
2.0.
Well, yeah, exactly. Inklings 2.0. Exactly. So we have the Duke with us today, aka
oh my god, this is the
Kendall
best thing that's ever happened to me.
If you guys have ever listened to That Pretentious Book Club, the other podcast I co-host, by the way, hi there, I'm Ash O'Rourke, aka Tolkien, aka Wheezy from That Pretentious Book Club. Kendall Shaw is our Dr. Spins Palermo from
Hello, I'm here. Oh my god, I'm really killing it. I'm a doctor in one
one pod,
and I'm a Duke over
the
here.
Other.
I can't lose.
In one, I'm asthmatic, and in the other one, I don't know when to stop talking about trees. So
you guys balance each other out.
I like it.
And then over there, your other normal host for the Scripturian Society is Carissa Harlow, aka Lewis.
Yeah,
aka Katherine,
aka Katherine. That's right. Pod Katherine. Yep. Pod Katherine, and also Katherine, which is Carissa's alter ego that is much darker than she is, and who will definitely be making an appearance this episode.
Guaranteed.
You know what, the Duke? This is something that you. I'm never going to refer to you as Duke, just only the Duke. So you know the Duke. This is every time it seems like that you and Carissa are on a joint episode. Something does end up bringing Katherine out.
I think that I kind of also have a bit of a Katherine energy sometimes. So it must feed off of each other. I
think it does.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true. Embrace it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a good place.
Listen, I just told this story to the Duke, but I'm going to say it again. So you've seen those TikTok videos. I'm sure you've seen these TikTok videos. Kendall was like, I don't know. I don't watch that much TikTok. And I was like, you know who does? Carissa. So, you know, the videos where like the moms will like smash their children's head into like a pie or like pour water on them. Or like when they're like, you know, which kid was the messiest? Which kid was the, you know, whatever. And so my sister came to visit and she was like, oh my God, let's do it. And so we did kind of a twist on one where Maddie and I were blindfolded and so we answered as well, like pointing, and my mom pointed as well. And I was just like, shocked by the results, let me tell you, because we went back and watched it to see, you know, how we all answered, and like who's the most generous? Maddie. Who's the most caring? Maddie. And then it was who's the meanest, and they both point at me, and I was like okay. And then they were like, what was the other one?
Because you're up against your mom and Maddie.
I guess so. But I was like, Maddie used to be very mean, I swear.
I think you're a really nice person, Ash.
Do you?
Yes,
Thanks.
Genuinely.
Well, then they were also like, who has the worst attitude? And they pointed at me, and I was like, once again, excuse you. I'm never playing this game again.
It's so funny. Here's what it is. It's because the actual person that you are is extremely generous, extremely kind, very thoughtful, like such a sweet person, but you kind of like try to put on a bit of an I have an attitude person, you know?
I don't want people to annoy me.
Exactly. So that's I think where it's coming from. They're like, well, she says it about herself.
It's very
might
possible.
as well.
That's very true. And then it was who's the funniest, and I still won that one. So I was like, I guess this is a fair trade-off. I guess I can accept that I'm mean and have a bad attitude if I'm also funny.
I know for a fact that if we did this with my house, Samuel would have gotten all of the same things you got.
That is so funny.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so
maybe
funny.
it's a middle child thing.
Maybe it is.
You guys have coping mechanisms.
We have some extreme coping mechanisms. We've observed the extremes of everything, and we can harness them at our will, just whenever we want to. So, yeah. I don't remember what brought that up. What were we talking about before that? There was a reason I wanted to point out that apparently I'm the mean one.
TikTok? I don't know.
I don't know. Something about dark sides. I don't
know.
Yeah,
Catherine.
You have a Katherine.
I guess that's the Katherine in
we
me.
all have a bit of a Katherine.
Do you have a Katherine? We all have a Katherine.
Listeners are like, no.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Don't lie.
Everybody does.
Especially if you're a writer.
Yeah,
oh,
dude,
yeah.
Exactly. Well, before we get too deep into the episode, Katherine, how's life been?
Good. I have writing updates, but I'll save that for the end. And that's pretty much been my whole life. So I have nothing else.
She basically showed all of us up this week, like really hardcore. And I was like, okay, so I'm trash. Got it. Moving on.
Shutting that down.
Shutting this down. I am garbage. Carissa is Amazing.
Thank you. I accept.
That's like how when people say that they love you, you say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're so correct.
You're so correct. I love it.
As you should.
You should. How about you, the Duke?
Oh,
this is like how we only say the Darkling as a proper pronoun.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Isn't there a character in Avatar that
yes, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I think there is.
Oh my god,
one of Jet's
totally
people.
Right.
They call him
yes,
that.
They do. They call him.
It's not
I think
the
they
dude,
call him
is it?
Duke.
I
think it's the Duke.
Isn't it Duke or is it the
I think
Duke?
it's with a K. It is the Duke.
It's just in my brain. I was like, is it the same?
And then there's Pipsqueak. Is that it? No, Smellerbee. Is that?
Well,
from
yeah,
Titans?
Smellerbee is an Avatar. Smellerbee and Longshot. They're like, is that his name? Are like Jet's pals. Yeah.
I love him.
And then the other two are like,
he was arguably one of the hottest characters.
You know what? You're a Jet stan. Come on.
No, I'm not. I'm not. But he has his moments where I'm just like, listen, you're hot. I was never crushing on him. Well, okay, I won't say that because that is a lie.
Don't lie, Ash.
Okay.
I crush on him when I watch the episodes, but then the crush goes away. Like it's not like a continued crush like Zuko.
I understand.
But he is irresistibly. He has an irresistible
that little
thing
piece
going.
of wheat hanging out of his lips. You couldn't help yourself.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. I love me that.
Like, oh boy.
Yeah, I love that Tom Sawyer vibe.
Oh God,
hot as heck. Woo-hoo. Well, you like Johnny Tremaine, so
okay. No need to bring that up.
I'm sorry. So
but Jet did. I'll say this about Jet. He did have some sense of charm because he was a revolutionary. You know, he was
that's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Listen, he was driven,
but he was too crazy for me. Like I was like, you were insane.
Here's the thing. He was almost sane enough for me. I know you're saying he's too crazy for you. He
tried to drown a whole city.
I know. He was a step past what I could accept.
Because I mean, like, and later on, he's like convinced that Zuko and his uncle are firebenders, and he's like, "Guys, listen to me." He sounds crazy, but he's right. He's right.
He was right.
There is no more in Ba Sing Se.
I know. Oh my god, my favorite ever is in the like recap play episode.
Oh gosh, I love that.
When they're Toph is like. Or no, Suki's like, did Jet just die? And Sokka goes, it was really unclear.
I mean, leave it at that. There's no conclusion.
God, so funny.
That show is a treasure. That is a great
show ever. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
new podcast idea. We just
talk about Avatar. I could do it for.
I know, right?
Years, truly.
And I have just so much we could go literally hang on. What if we go episode by episode? We can do this Office Lady style, but with Avatar the Last Airbender. And although we were not involved in any way in the making of the show, we still have a lot of
just like sum it up from memory.
Like about it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I could do that. Just tell me the episode title. I'm like, okay, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. I literally just heard like the opening, like to like the. It's like the music notes.
Fire Nation attack.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Previously on Avatar.
Oh my god, I can do the whole intro word for word, which I mean all of us can. It's not really a talent,
but no, it is
I like that all of us can do that. I feel like we are powerful together in this way.
We could defeat evil by just in sync saying this.
Exactly.
What if you were in the Avatar universe? What kind of bending would you have if you were a bender?
I'm so conflicted about this because I'm a mermaid, and so you would think water, and I always think if I could have like an element power, I want water. But I think personality wise, I'm fire.
I was about to say it's your Aries-ness.
It's my Aries-ness, but it's really frustrating because I would choose water.
See, but I'm thinking the opposite.
Personality wise, it's fire.
For like me, really? I would say I would choose fire, but I think personality wise, I'm water.
I could see that.
I could see that. I could see you being Earth too, because you are very consistently you.
That is true.
I've always thought I'd be Earth, but I'll go back and forth between like water and Earth. I'm not
water
sure.
and Earth. I feel like it's kind of like the Gryffindor thing, where like the Hogwarts thing, where like you're usually between two. Like you could go either way. I kind of feel like that's. So.
I mean,
I've never had that problem.
You are too one thing. You're so Earth. You are like, I am not movable. You don't understand.
That's fair. I'll go with Earth.
Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go with her.
Those guys can
Seriously.
wreck stuff up, you know.
Okay,
It's
Toph
true.
was like so badass that it made me be like, I want Earth powers
Right?
though.
True.
But
She is one of the best characters on television.
on
possibly
television,
Blind
ever.
Bandit,
I'm
love
like
her.
completely.
She's
the Blind
way better than Katara. That's the thing too, is I was like, Katara, I don't want to hear about hope anymore. Please stop.
Okay,
talking.
I know you're not insulting my girl right now.
Listen, I appreciate her, but if I had to hear one more friendship speech or hope speech, I don't want to hear it
See,
anymore.
but they even acknowledged that. Do you
I
remember
know.
And Nick
that?
went that
That was
episode,
so
he's like, I don't
funny.
go on about hope that much, and everyone's silent. Do I?
Yeah.
Yes.
You at all?
That's
No.
so funny. Okay, but I think we can all agree that inarguably the best character in the whole series is Sokka.
Oh, absolutely.
The one who
I
can't.
think
God,
between Sokka
totally.
and Zuko, I do love.
They are my
Okay,
favorite
that's true.
characters.
Two of them,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's
they
why
are.
I love the Boiling Rock episode so much. because of the
Mhm.
prison
Oh,
break.
because it's them.
Those
Yeah.
are so good. And
Those
then
are
with
so
May, oh my gosh, I love those
I
episodes.
have a spin-off
my God.
request for the production studio. I want a show that is just Zuko and Sokka have to team up, and it's like the Winter Soldier and the Falcon.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
them like doing adventures.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to see them
Oh
doing
my
adventures.
God, I would
They make me
watch that.
Love
so
it.
happy. Anyways, and that's the end of the
100%.
Scripturian Society.
Anyway, yeah.
Yes.
People who don't watch Avatar are like, what the hell are they
Yeah.
talking about? And this is honestly, I don't feel bad. It's your own fault you don't watch Avatar.
Yeah, sorry,
true.
you guys.
Go and
There
watch
are
it
graphic
and
novels. It's
Read them.
kind of a book.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could do that.
I think they go into more depth about like some stuff we don't talk about in the
Oh,
show, like
totally.
Zuko's mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways, the Duke, how's your week been? That's where this all started.
Anyway,
Well, my week was not great. I did get the Rona.
oh,
Cheers to that.
Miss
Because
Rona
same.
came and got me. Yeah,
She got me a couple weeks ago,
We-
so ting.
there we go.
I'm Rona free.
Um,
Woo!
It was
For now, I swear everybody's
so-
getting this.
proud of myself. Not that it like mattered. I mean, everybody's getting it, so it doesn't.
Mhm.
It wasn't anything about me. I was just like, wow, somehow I have managed not to get it for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
it's like, dang it, you know.
See, it's the second time, so I was just like, I'm obviously a piece of human garbage because this is the second time I got the
It's
virus.
not. You literally stay at home all the time.
I literally do. I was like, how did this happen to me? And I was like, my husband must have given it to me. And he's like, I'm fine. And I'm like, and he also got it and had the vaccine and got it last year. And I was just like, I don't understand. I don't leave my home. Like,
It
is somebody
just, like,
pumping it through the
permeated
vents?
walls.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jennifer did it.
Yennefer, did you give me
it was
the
definitely
Rona?
Jennifer.
It was totally
absolutely
Jennifer.
Actually, it was
You
probably
never suspect
Flora.
her though, you know.
Yeah, Flora's over there cackling to herself.
Flora.
And by
She's
over there,
too
I mean
obvious.
somewhere in a dark
She's
corner.
somewhere,
where I can't
yeah.
see her.
She's like watching us right now.
She's like,
cackling.
haha, sister takes the blame. God.
Supreme leader decided you had to have Rona.
Yeah. She was like, this way mom stays home and doesn't work. Because the thing is, I'm home and working. And so she's like, close the computer, bitch. And I'm like, no, I'm working, Flora. And she's like, that's fine. I'll just destroy everything that you own. And I'm like, go away, Flora. And then I hear just, claws tearing apart my furniture constantly. And then I spray her and she goes, like she's like this wounded little baby. And she runs away. And then a second later, I hear, I'm like, yeah, okay, you're so wounded.
Oh, boo-hoo. Cry me a river, Flora.
Yeah, she's the worst. And then Javi gets home and he's like, oh, my poor baby. Has mom abused you all day? Oh, my poor perfect Flora. Nothing's as beautiful as you are. I love you more than anything. And I'm like, more than anything? He's like, more than anything or anyone.
Doubles
Looking
down.
at you specifically more than anyone.
No, he currently
Definitely
does
more
these-
than Ash.
He likes to go, Flora, you're my number one. I would do anything for you. But he's talking to the cat, but he's looking at me while he's talking to the cat. And I'm like, thank you. I really appreciate this. This is very special to me. Thanks. Yeah.
Well,
That's nice. I was thinking there are all these TikTok videos about, the Rona going around and people like me that are just like, well, I'm so single, even the coronavirus won't have me.
Oh, that's funny.
So anyway,
what about you, Ash?
Well, my poor co-hosts got to witness. I was like, hey, so first I'm going to push back the recording time and then I'm going to not show up when I said I was going to show up. I actually was like 6 minutes later, I think, when I logged in. And then I was like, actually, we can't record because I have to call my realtor. So then I had what was supposed to be a short phone call, but was not. And this was not this week. This was just in the last hour. But this is because my week hasn't been that exciting. It's just been, I've just been working. I did mop my floors today, which was sorely needed. First, I was like, I'm going to take a lunch break. And then I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to clean everything. And so I did that. And I didn't take a break or a nap like I wanted. But anyway, so we went to see another property. We're trying to put an offer in, and just that's crazy. I mean, I don't know if you guys know anything about the appraisal process, but it's ridiculous. It's very annoying. And yeah, basically that's it. So like, it's just like lots of ups and downs of, oh my God, we're going to have a house. Oh my God, we're never going to have a house. So
you will have a house.
Life.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, come Christmas gingerbread house time again.
Okay, very funny.
Thank you. I am the funny one. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh God, everyone's like, please stop now. She can stop talking now. Just get on with the episode.
Like, skip.
The writers want to hear about writing.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Do you?
Is that why you're here?
Yeah.
Hello, writers. Hello?
Writers calling already. They're like, it's like a bunch of jocks you somehow accidentally like,
welcome.
Like, oh, I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah, welcome. It took you this long to figure out you're in the wrong place. It is too late to leave. It's like when they're like, if you don't want to be in this class now, leave, but it's only like the first 5 minutes.
So you're like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know yet. And
I have a story about this.
Passed. Oh, good.
Have I told you the story before? My first day of college, I went to the math class like that we were supposed to have together.
God, the one where we met.
Yes, but they changed the room like last minute or like within 2 to 3 days, so I ended up in the wrong math class.
No.
And I was sitting there and I was like, something feels wrong. This doesn't feel like the class I'm supposed to be in. And then they're going down the list and my name wasn't on it. And they're like, if you're not supposed to be in this class, like, that's okay. You can get up and leave. And I'm like, I can't get up and leave. So I sat through the whole math class I was not supposed to be in and just like trying to keep to myself, being like, don't make friends, don't make eye contact. And then I booked it out of there at the end.
What's ironic is anybody from art, because it was like our math class was like for the special ones for the art majors who couldn't pass normal math.
Yes, I would have math class too.
Exactly. But so the thing is, all of us are the people who, if we ended up like Carissa did in the wrong math class, and they said, if we didn't read your name, you can get up and leave. None of us are the people who would get up and leave.
Yeah. We're like, with people that hide.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. That hurts, man.
It was so awful. And I was like, maybe I should just quit and leave. And then my mom was like, no, it's fine. You'll get through this. I was like, okay.
Quit college?
Yeah, because it was my first class. I was like, I'm not cut out for this life. And she's like, it was one class. Breathe. Wow. We'll find where your class is supposed to be. I was like, okay.
I get that. I'm wrapping it up. This was a good experiment. We're done.
I totally get that. Today I burned my hand while cooking, and I first of all cursed a bunch, and then I was like, I'm never cooking again. I hate this. I'm a failure in the kitchen. I never want to touch the stove again. I'm absolutely done with this madness.
Yep.
Straight catastrophize. And this is literally just like 2 nights ago. Here's another example of the exact same thing happening, but not with cooking. Javi and I had a conversation over the phone, and I thought we got in an argument, right? Because I talked about my feelings, and what really happened was he just wanted to go to bed. And so, but he was at drill, and so I couldn't clarify. So I spent like a whole 20 hours, because I counted it, 20 hours of being miserable, thinking we were in some fight. And then he got back and he's like, what's going on? And I was like, I've been miserable for 20 hours because we were in a fight. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, I'm just never going to talk about my feelings again. How about that? I'll just never, ever talk about my feelings again. And he's like, that is so stupid. But I was like, no, I see how it is. I'll just never emote. He's like, anymore.
I am a robot.
It's fine. I opened up one time and it didn't work.
So
we're not doing it again.
Experiment failed.
Never again. Yeah. So I totally get that reaction. I feel that reaction. Aww. That's my knee-jerk reaction to any kind of misfortune. Is I'm never ever doing that again. And you can't possibly make me. And if you try to convince me in the moment, I will like literally fight about it.
Yeah, it's kind of cathartic to just say to yourself, great, you never have to do this again, even though you know you're going to just have that moment of like, all right, I can get out of this if I want.
I can picture a world where I never have to do this again, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And then you don't choose that world.
Yeah, because you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do we have any book recs for people today?
I also do not have any book recs.
Well, that's
Very
okay
boring
because
today.
I
know. Are you gonna talk about it?
I am gonna
That was
you
gonna
know.
be. I mean, that's the only other book I've read recently.
I know,
so, yeah.
but I was wondering because I was so enthusiastic about it on TPBC. I was like, I wonder if Kendall's gonna get here and be like, oh my god, Ash is excited about it again.
No, I am also excited about it.
Okay,
I've been
good.
telling people about it.
So I'll say that our mutual book rec then, it's the TPBC book rec, I guess, is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio.
I've heard great things about it.
Dude,
It was
you would
so
especially
good.
love this.
Okay,
because
Ash,
you're
it's on my
brainy.
list, but it's like $20 to buy, and I'm waiting for it to go down.
Oh, I don't know if it
That's
will.
the only reason I don't have it.
It's been out for a hot minute.
Has it?
Mhm.
Like
I might just have to
I
take
think
people
though
away.
it went through maybe a bit of a weird publishing thing where I think it was originally like kind of an indie book, and now it's
now it's
bigger.
like Flatiron.
Yeah.
It's through Flatiron Publishers or something.
Okay.
Well, I'm like, I can send you my book. I want everybody to
No, it's
read this
okay.
book.
I'm
It
gonna
is
buy it
so
eventually. I'm just
good.
saying.
And you are such an intellectual, you'll probably get way more out of it than I even did, because you're like, I like to read for the literature, and I'm like, I like to read for the entertainment. I don't know.
I'm a plot gal.
I'm a plot gal. And Chris is like, I'm in like understanding the deeper meanings gal and everything else. So this is like I can't even imagine, like your brain might actually explode reading this book.
I love that.
If We Were Villains. Okay, so for everyone for this book rec, this is like, so it's new adult. It's this group of 7 at first friends.
Dun, dun, dun.
Friends in this it's an acting conservatory, right? And so they're all like, you know, college age or whatever. They're in their 4th year, so they're all like the cool kids of the theater group, which is just the ultimate oxymoron, which I love so much. But it's so true.
Yeah, these are kids who are like genius level Shakespeare nerds.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're genius level
So
Shakespeare nerds with all of the
imagine how tired
drama
we are.
of, yeah, they all live in like this one separate like dorm called the Castle, and it's like only them in this whole building. And this is theater kids. This is 7 theater kids like locked in a castle together, essentially. So
Love
you
it.
can imagine how things are going.
Yes.
And
there's a little murder.
there's a little murder,
intrigue.
a little intrigue, a little romance,
A little romance.
a little-
all my favorite
Shakespeare.
a little
things.
unexpected romance.
A little unexpected.
It's so good. And basically ML Rio, if you know anything about the author, which I didn't until the Duke, you know, elucidated that for me in our last
Excellent
episode.
Thank you.
Yeah. Basically she's like a genius. So she like went to King's College and has like a master's degree in Shakespeare studies or something. And she's getting her PhD in early English literature or something crazy. She's like super crazy smart. I went to her Instagram. It's like freaking like martinis and caviar. Like it's like,
Yeah.
and her like profile pictures, I'm like, you could not be any, like she looks, I can't even, you have to go.
I can't even.
I'm like, I didn't think these people existed.
She's real, everyone. She's
real.
She wrote a really good book.
That book is so good, and it's not a fantasy, so you wouldn't like, this is literally my top 3 favorite books, people. And this is,
Wow.
I've never ever put anything that's not like a fantasy in my top 3
Right.
ever, but this is, I mean, I like want to read it again, and I just read it, and it is in no way the
Nice.
genre I would usually pick. So
Yeah.
anyways, that is my book rec. It is the strongest book rec I've ever had for anything. I broke the
Is-
pinky scale. I gave it 5+ pinkies up.
She was
Is
like,
this your darkest minds?
This.
I mean, it is, except that there's no one I have a crush on in it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Who
true.
could you really have a crush on in this?
Maybe Philippa.
Yeah, because I want to be Philippa.
I really like
yeah,
her.
I really like her too. I made a TikTok about it, and I'm like really proud of myself.
I saw
So
it.
I'm
I just didn't get it. When I read it, I'll watch it
You'll
again.
get it when you read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is all of my TikToks were becoming super niche, and I was like, great, because I was so successful before they were
Hunchback of Notre Dame fandom
I know.
only.
for the book
I did
version
love that
only.
one, but like no one got it, I bet,
No,
except for
I thought
us.
it was funny.
Well, I'm at the
Loved
point where
it.
I'm like, you know what, I'm doing this for me and for
Yeah.
the Duke and for
And you know
Louis.
what? This is people who read books that we read. This
Yeah,
is for them.
exactly.
You know, where else can they go?
Exactly. My hope is like when I post this one on Instagram, I'm gonna be like, if you don't get it, like I'm hoping you'll be curious enough that you'll go listen to
Yeah.
the episode or read the
Right.
book. Like I'm just want to make you so curious that you have to do something about it. Anyways,
Love it.
that's my book rack.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you have a book, right, Carissa?
I don't know. She said
No.
she's just been writing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh,
I can't do both.
Girl.
Oh, right. That
that.
impressive
am-
thing you did.
Yeah, I'm too much in one category. So like if I'm socializing, I'm not reading or writing. If I'm writing,
Mhm.
I'm not reading or socializing. And if I'm reading, I'm not socializing or writing. So I can only
Such
do
an
one at a
earthbender
time.
thing of you to say.
It
No,
is.
that's
Ash,
true.
The evidence is just mounting for me being an earthbender.
I should have been a lawyer. So
Oh man.
Fix my microphone before it makes a bunch of sound.
Is it word of the week time?
Yeah, I was about to say, what's our word of the week?
Ooh,
Word
okay.
of the week. Word of the week.
I like this. You
Yeah.
should our jingle.
Word of the week.
Affray, Affray, and it's an instance of fighting in a public place that disturbs the peace.
I know this one and I love it.
Yeah, I
Like
know
a
a lot.
fray,
Affray.
but
Yeah.
it's like verbing.
But it's a verb.
fray,
Right.
sort of.
Instead of a fray.
I mean, it's a
a
noun,
fray.
but well, is it a noun? Yes.
It's an affray. There was an affray in the
Yeah.
bar.
Well, yeah, I guess it's a noun.
There was an affray in every single scene of If We Were Villains.
if you
There
say
was
so.
quite a
I don't
lot
know.
of-
There was a lot of affrays.
Cool.
I know. I looked
Affray.
at you like you could relate.
I don't know.
Wait,
Is
say
it
in a
accurate?
sentence? Use it in a sentence.
I mean, yeah, the idea of
Not
there was
you.
an affray
Yeah,
at
you
the
just did it,
bar.
but-
I don't think you were talking to me. No worries.
I know, but I was like, wait, Ash just did that like 8 times. But then I was like, I want to hear it from the horse's mouth, you know?
Because we all know I don't know what I'm talking about.
I do think the idea of like there was an affray at the bar is
Mhm.
a correct use.
Interesting.
I think it's a noun.
So this is just maybe a case where the word that used to be an affray, and we've changed it to a fray.
Yeah.
Which is just the
Yeah, I think
evolution of
so.
language.
So it's kind of
Here,
archaic, yeah.
I have a bone to pick with my husband, but because he won't even tolerate the discussion of the evolution of language with me, I can't pick this bone with him. So I'm going to pick it with
What?
everybody else.
It's the best conversation topic out there.
That's what
I
I
love
think. I just
talking
think
about
it's
this.
fun. He gets like really annoyed. Like I don't know. He's like he's personally offended or something. But these words keep coming up, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like,
Well, tell her what word it was this time.
well, there was 2 of them.
Okay.
But the one
It's
that
a
maybe
bad
people
word.
would recognize. No, I don't
Oh.
think so. Bussin'? People say something's bussin'? I bet
Oh,
you don't know what
okay.
it means either. Oh, you know what it means?
I know it when you say it in a sentence. Yeah.
What would
it's
you say
bussin'.
that it means?
Good or poppin'? I don't know.
Well, so I said, what's the origin of bussin'? And he was like, why does it matter? I just told you what it means. And I was like, well, to really understand what a word actually means, like the connotation as well as the denotation, you want to know where the word came from. Like, how did it originate? And he was like, I just
Absolutely.
told you what the word means. And I was like, I'm not asking what the word means. And then I said, like prefixes. I was trying to explain to him why, because this is not the first time. I also was like, what does cap mean? Because there was some video that people
No
thought
cap.
was fake. See, I said no cap, and he's like, nobody says that anymore, Ash. And he was like, stop saying no cap. And now I'm like, no cap all the time.
I don't know that one.
It's like when you're like, it means like for real, basically.
I guess
right?
so. I had to look
You're
it up,
like,
but it means like,
Oh,
true.
this is the best martini ever. No cap.
No cap, exactly.
Yeah.
So like basically, I guess there's all those like videos that are like definitely fake that keep popping up on TikTok, or like people like try these like DIY hacks or whatever,
Oh.
and they're obviously fake. So people will be like cap, or now they're just like posting like hat emojis, like a cap.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I have no problem with these words bussin' and cap, but I was like, I want to know where they originated
I know
from.
the origination of bussin',
Of bussin',
but I
what is
don't
it?
think it's appropriate for the pod.
I
Oh,
wanna
no.
know.
Well, I
Say
guess it
anyways.
is.
I'll just mark it. if
I
it's
don't
not.
know. I don't know if I'm correct on this, but I know that like bussy
Go for
was
it.
a thing.
Say it
What
with
is bussy?
confidence.
Bussy is in like boy pussy.
Really?
Wow, I
It
didn't know
might
that was a
not.
thing either.
It might not be the same
Interesting.
thing.
Interesting.
I thought it was like bussin'. as
I've
in,
never
like-
even heard that. Listen, of all of us, you're the one who would probably know of the 3 of us.
But see, now I'm gonna sound stupid if I'm wrong, so you might have to cut this.
Okay,
anyway.
well, I'm gonna sound even more. I've literally just said I don't know what cap means or bussin', and I literally only learned what no cap means because I was trying to look up cap, and I was like, I've heard no cap before, so I'm gonna see if I can like go back to the origination of that and then track the origination of that, And so Javi was like, "Stop it! I just told you what it means," and I was like, I just like this. I was explaining the importance of prefixes and suffixes, right? Because if you recognize them, you can often figure out what a word means, even if you've never seen it or heard it before. And then Kendall gets here today and he's trying to complain about me to her. And she's like asking me like what the pronouns and the verbs are. And I was like, prefixes and suffixes.
Totally different.
Totally different things. And so anyways, I know that all of our listeners, like you guys are my crowd. Like I know that you people look at this, even though my husband is like, stop asking me where these words originate from. And I'm like, if you're stupid, just say it. It's fine. Like if you're
just boring,
don't,
just say so.
if
That's a
you're boring,
TikTok
just say
sound.
so. Oh my God. It is. Hang on. TikTok. I think I should make a TikTok. And again, it's going to be so niche that only a few people get it and laugh. But anyways, so
okay, I don't think it has anything to do with Bussy, so you'll definitely delete that.
Oh. Got it.
It was a good guess.
What is it?
Nobody knows.
See, this is what I'm saying. I was trying to track the origin of bussin' and I couldn't find anything. And then I was trying to track the origin of cap or no cap. And again, I couldn't find anything. I saw something that said cappin' used to mean like bragging. So maybe
so
it's
bussin'
like brag
reminds
or no
me
brag. So true or not true?
Yeah, bussin' reminds me of bus boys, and then no cap reminds me of captain, like on a pirate ship.
See, that's what I'm saying. You're using your big brain like we're supposed to track the origin of the word to figure out its meaning. Javi doesn't, I guess that doesn't even happen for him. Are there people out there besides my husband who that doesn't even happen? You don't hear a word and immediately think, what other thousands of words do I know that are in any way similar that might have a similar meaning or some kind of related meaning? Because that's all that I do. And so I guess it doesn't even cross Javi's mind. And it's like, it makes him mad.
It must be such a relaxing place to be in. I'm constantly thinking about that kind of stuff.
Is it? I feel kind of like I have a superpower. Like that I'm like, I can like see a word I've never heard of and be like, I kind of know what that means. I'm like,
oh, what?
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, what?
I was gonna say,
how intelligent I am.
I was gonna say, I obsess over the spelling of words. So if people say a word that I've never heard before, my brain will try to spell it over and over and over until I figure out a spelling that works for me. And then if I find out it's not the right spelling, I like lose my mind. I'm like, no, that can't be a K, it's a C.
That is so funny. I definitely don't do that. Nope. I'm just like strictly obsessed with the origin of words and how the prefixes and suffixes relate to other words.
That's also good.
Like legitimately makes my husband mad, which I just don't like. Is it just, why does it make him mad? That's what I want to know.
That is a strange thing.
If
There's some
anyone
like
out
deep
there,
dark past.
If that makes you mad, I just want to know why. He would be like, no. If I was like, Javi, can you come explain this to me? Because I asked him and he's like, because I already told you what the word means. And I said, I'm not asking what the word means. And he's like, but I already told you what it means. And I'm like, I don't want to know what it means. I want to know where it came from.
It sounds like he has a secret life where he was once a top tier linguist and he got deeply betrayed. And now he can't, he just can't talk about it anymore. It's too painful.
That's exactly what it sounds like, because he won't even entertain it. So that's exactly what it sounds like.
That was inspired.
I think you
thank you.
I think you broke the veil. I think you figured it out.
I see him for who he is.
I think I'm gonna have to confront him about this. And I'm gonna be like, so no cap, Javi. I think I understand. I think you understand why my approach to language isn't bussin'.
Oh, mic drop.
I'll try to use his language.
No cap.
No cap, Javi. And he hates when I say no cap because, quote, nobody says that shit anymore.
I figured out, my youngest brother told me like last month, he was like, Kendall, nobody plays Fortnite anymore. So he said something about like, all them kids on their Fortnite, something real old. And he was like, nobody plays Fortnite anymore.
I totally thought.
And I was like, oh God, I don't know anything.
I don't know anything anymore.
He's 14. I'm 25 now.
Okay, my husband's 31 and he knows all of the slang. So he just can't stand that I don't. And I'm like, I am significantly younger.
He's in there. Like I never go on TikTok.
He is
because he was once a linguist.
That is so true.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh man, I don't know if I can accept this. I told him that he speaks ghetto and he said that's offensive and I was like, is it true? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, moving on. You're the one who can't explain to me where your language comes from. Anyways,
I think though that it's hard, we never really, it's a very much a Googling situation. Like I never know where anything comes from.
Except that Javi somehow knows. Like these kids will make up new words and he's like, of course it means this thing. And I'm like, how on earth? There was no prefix, there was no suffix, there's no origin, there's nothing I can how did you get the meaning of this word? And he's like, it doesn't matter, it just means this. And I'm like,
I do like that. That's
maybe you're right, he's a secret linguist.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and internet slang jumps off so fast,
does.
And then it dies so fast.
It's true. Well, he's also, so he's like, the way he speaks is this like fun mixture of like surfer meets ghetto. So like I should have known from the start that any like alternative language he's gonna latch onto. because surfers make up shit all the time, weird shit, stupid stuff. And then like he talks like the ghetto language, which is just like a different, it's just totally different. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's like he's speaking a different language. It's like it's not English. I guess when I speak, like when I talk about prefixes and suffixes, that's like a different language, considering he refers to them as pronouns and verbs.
Yeah, right. He knows what they are. He's trying to throw you off the scent.
I'm afraid that he doesn't know what prefixes and suffixes are. I was like phonics, do you know what phonics is? And he was like, stop, I told you what the word means already. Anyways,
phonics was my life.
Phonics was my life.
Oh yeah, I used to have this little toy that was like, welcome to the phonics bus, and it would like play like,
was it bussin'?
It was bussin'. It really was.
Oh man. Anyways,
Affray.
Affray.
It probably turned into a fray, but it was originally Affray.
That was what I was trying to get. I'm putting a note to maybe cut out some of my ranting. We'll see. I really needed to get that out because Javi won't let me. He won't let me.
Just keep talking anyway. Talk to the cat.
And I think I'll just never talk to him again about anything ever.
That is
no emotions, no conversation.
I'm never gonna emote. I'm never gonna cook. I'm never gonna talk about prefixes and suffixes. I'm done.
What else is there?
I'm never going to go to the wrong math class again.
I will never risk being in the wrong place at the wrong time again. I will never leave my home because I know I belong there.
Oh no, you followed through. I was making a joke, but you followed through.
Dang.
I went through college first, but then I reverted.
Yeah, and then you were like, actually, that original idea, that was the bussin' idea.
It was a bussin' idea.
Now, okay, new plan. I'm gonna use these words so much that Hobby's like, stop using these words.
You gotta get ahead of the curve on TikTok words.
What, like make up new ones?
No, just like before he finds out what they are, you gotta find out what they are.
But I can't, because I always have to ask him, because I try to find out what they mean and I can't, because there's no logical reason that these words mean what they mean.
Slang.
And also I could never spend as much time on TikTok as Javi does. I don't know how he does it. He always knows things before me.
I don't know.
Anyways. Do you wanna share our theme for this episode?
Yeah. Today we're gonna be talking about killing off characters. Dun dun dun.
Oh, we all did it. Good for us.
In our own way.
That was awesome of us.
Yeah.
No cap.
No cap. I'm excited to talk about killing off characters.
I know. Like when to do it, when not to.
I'm so glad that you're here.
Not on our page.
I am more like anime style writing, which I think I've mentioned before, where like if you watch, okay, depending on the anime, because I can't say this is true of all of them, but some animes, like Fairy Tail, for instance, like the characters never really die for the most part. It's very rare. And like even like evil characters, like when they get beat and they should die, they basically just revive them and turn them into heroes. And I'm like, I love this for me and for everybody. Redemption stories. Now they're nice. I love a redemption arc for villains. So anyways, that's why Fairy Tail gets away with it. But a lot of animes like will do that, where like no one ever really dies. And I love that so much. But I know that I'm not in the majority here, so go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I think some people like that. I just think it's fun to kill people off.
The stakes are high.
Yeah.
Everything means more.
I do think that's what it comes down
forever.
to. I know.
I know,
what if you
Ash,
make
that's
a mistake?
life.
What if you kill the wrong person and then
that's
you're
life,
like,
Ash.
I need them?
People kill the wrong people all the time.
But not me. I only kill the right people. I mean, I don't kill people.
You can keep listen.
I mean,
if you kill them, you can keep them around for yourself and write little stories with them by yourself.
But then they're like a zombie.
No, it's
like past stories.
You can't reset it. That's not how it works. When they're dead forever.
But
you can't go back.
You can pull an alternate universe trick.
The story, yeah, it's like your own thing.
That's a cop out.
But it doesn't have to be published. It could be just for you.
No, they cease to exist when they're dead.
That's interesting to me. I don't
unless
feel that
they're
way.
Ghosts.
I kill people all the time just for fun, and then I'll like do like my own little. That sounded dark.
No, I feel you. Me too.
Sometimes when I'm feeling like real mad or angsty or whatever, I'll just like go on a killing spree and like kill people or like hurt them, and then in my books, not in real life, but like my characters, and then I'll be like, oh, thank God that wasn't real. And then I'll put them back in later.
Listen, my word is law. If I have written that a character is dead, they are never coming back in any capacity. They're dead. And I have killed characters. It's just that I don't do it very often.
Well, no wonder.
Because they're dead. They don't come back ever again. I can't even come back for me. So
I do think that is a good point, though, that like the resurrection thing kind of ruins it sometimes for me. I like maybe one person, but you can't pull resurrection constantly.
You can have little resurrection as a treat.
I enjoy it in animes because that's in these animes because that's specifically why I go to these animes. But in books, I would not like it in books. Maybe like one we thought they were dead, but actually they're not.
Sometimes
like every
can be really fun.
Yeah, if it's done well. But like I don't expect that from books. I do think it seems like a cop out. It's really hard to pull off.
Yeah, because I think the whole point of killing off characters is to raise the stakes and show, okay, there are real consequences to the things that are going on. So if you erase that with a resurrection arc, it's like, well, I guess the consequences aren't that high, and I guess there isn't a lot at stake here. So it kind of ruins the point. So
that's very true. It raises the stakes, but I don't know.
But the emotional
I do think it's so interesting that like you write fantasy, but you don't kill people off very often. Because when you think about the genres where that's most common or potentially necessary, quote unquote, it's like fantasy, dystopia, sci-fi, because those are like the high stake genres.
It's true. Well, part of this might be a problem with my writing in general, is I've been told that my stakes aren't high enough, which is something I'm constantly battling in my writing. So part of it is just that my stakes aren't naturally that high. So if I was going to kill off characters, it would just seem like for no reason, really.
Disproportionate.
It would seem disproportionate. It wouldn't seem like actually called for. It'd be like, well, she's murdering them for no reason. So the story doesn't call for it. So part of it is that. And then the other part is I have killed off characters, but the thing is I really want to like wring the most out of them that I can. So when I do, it's really close to the end and there's other stuff going on. So I can't spend that much time on it. So,
Ash,
and I only kill them when they have to die. There's some that I'm like, I know that you die at the end of this story, but I'm just not going into it.
But if you kill them, then you can go into all the detail about the people suffering for their death.
See, that's worse. I don't want to do that. That's worse than killing them.
Then you can break the hearts of the people around them.
Then I have to break my own heart. It's not fun. This is the difference. You two are way more distant from your characters than I am.
No, I'm not.
I cry over it. I cry when I kill people. I do. I cry when I kill them.
You also laugh when you put them through pain.
No, I laugh afterwards.
I think perhaps the difference here is that I didn't realize you felt that way about killing people. Like when it's done, it's done. It's because I think for me, I'm constantly like writing stuff that's outside of the scope of the story. You guys, so to me, when I create a character, they're just always around. So it's like if I kill them, it's like I'm testing it out or whatever, or I'll do it. But to me, they're not really dead. I mean, as long as it's a nice character. But so like
that makes sense.
It's not that I'm distant from them. It's just that I have a different.
That's a different approach. Yeah, that's true. You guys are both like more you guys said that you could both do fan fiction stuff. Like you can both write additional content for your books. I can't do it because to me it doesn't feel real. It feels totally fake. Like,
but then you have to go back and edit eventually. So you go back to them in some ways.
It's different. Yeah, but it's in the existing storyline. Like I'm not creating a whole new narrative because I can't, because like if they're dead, they're not there to create a whole new, my brain is like, I can't do this. Also, like when I meant was you guys are more distant, it was not that you're not attached to your characters, it's that both of you guys are also capable of third person, way more so than I am. So I feel like that's a little bit of part of it, which is not, it's not that you're distant exactly, but you do that thing where you can see the whole bigger picture. I am so close to the story that I'm like, I cannot, they're dead. Like I cannot see beyond what has happened in this story. So I think that's part of it, which is actually causing me a lot of problems. So really this episode is, this is how Ash is a bad writer and don't follow her lead. Because she is,
you don't have to kill people. You just need to be willing to sometimes.
I was thinking actually a minute ago when Carissa brought up that it's interesting that you don't kill people that often because of the genres you write. I'm like, I think it would be really hard to not kill people.
Really?
As much as you don't kill them, you know, to me it seems like it makes it harder, so I'm like, wow, it's actually really impressive. Because honestly, when you're reading a book and you kill the author kills somebody you care about, it's always like, could couldn't you have not done it? Like you could have found a way.
I
So
always
like
find
for
a
you
way.
to not find a way
Life finds
consistently
a way.
is actually really impressive.
Thank you.
Bravo,
It's
Ash.
so different reading the book and writing it sometimes.
It's true.
Although when I'm reading, I can appreciate it every now and then when like I'm like, okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes if somebody doesn't die, it feels like it, depending on the story, it feels like okay,
Yeah, a
then
cop
where are the
out.
stakes?
Mhm.
But sometimes it's like, okay, this was petty, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done an on-screen death. Like I realized because in the other book that I've written, that I've been querying, in the second book in that series, I am planning to kill a character. She has to die. But the thing is, she's got to go. But I'm thinking the way that I'm thinking in my head is it's going to be another like off-screen death. Like there's like a really awful, sad, scene where like everyone's acknowledging they're dying. Okay, it's like this really emotional moment between the characters. But then they're going to die off screen, which is what I did the last time I killed the character. So do you guys do on screen deaths? Because I have never done it.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like by off screen, like people
like they
hear
die
about it?
Yeah. So like an off-screen death in my mind is like they're really sick or they're really injured. And like, there's like, everyone has to say their goodbyes, but the plot takes the main character somewhere else. And so they don't get to be there for the death.
Not with them. Yeah.
For me, I feel like I almost always would rather do it on screen. Because then it makes it worse.
Yeah, it does make it worse. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I'm like, if I'm gonna go through the trouble of killing them, I want to make it as much of a kill as possible.
Wring as much out of it as you can.
There's something, but you have the opportunity when it's off screen, I feel like, to do some kind of like bittersweet stuff with it, which is when it's appropriate. Sometimes it's not. But like with the first character I killed, I feel like it made it so bittersweet that it was like, because it was a moment of like a lot of emotional realization, these characters coming back together and like forgiving each other, and then stuff is still totally unresolved, and now this person's dying, so it's tragic in that sense because that stuff can never be fixed. But you get like the bittersweetness. I feel like if I had just killed him, like that moment couldn't have happened.
Right.
Well, it's just so sudden when you kill them. That's it. It's the end. It's sudden. There's nothing else you can't pull anything else out of that moment.
Yeah, there's value in both, because if you kill them really suddenly, then it's kind of that moment of I didn't even get to say goodbye, and that's its own kind of grief that's different. But then if you do it like prolonged or whatever, and they aren't there with them, that's also like an emotional journey.
Yeah.
So I mean,
what would you say the acceptable ratio should be of like on-screen to off-screen deaths? Because here's the thing is like off-screen deaths, because they usually have those scenes that are like really intense and kind of drawn out a little bit more than an on-screen death. Like I feel like you really can't do that more than once a book. So that's also why I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
how many on-screen deaths
perhaps
can you do?
Yeah, I guess like battles, right? You can't spend a lot of time looking at everyone that's dying during battles. So you can have the main character seeing them die, but then they can't linger on it. So if you do want it to be like a really profound impact, I think you have to do it. Well, I think you can do it on or off, but
they have to have a moment.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of realization or like grief process.
What would you say is the wrong way to kill a character?
For no reason.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Could you give me an example?
I have one.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
This might be controversial though, because, well, no, I can't even say it.
I haven't said anything controversial today, so.
No, I can't say it yet because you haven't read the last one.
What if I don't care?
I want you to care.
Wait.
What series is it? What series
I know what you're talking about. What is it?
The series.
This is the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I think I know everyone who dies.
I disagree.
I don't know this one.
Oh, which one are you talking about?
I promise you I don't care.
The petty one, not the one that you're like, okay, I see the significance for the plot.
Yeah.
The one where you're like
the full circle. Yeah, but the other one that's like so sudden and you don't get to
Prim die.
Like nope, I'm not talking about that one. I can't talk about
spoilers.
But
I don't care. We do spoil
to read it.
Not you.
But I don't care. Just tell me. Spoiler alert, everybody, for the last Hunger Games.
Okay, spoiler alert for the Hunger Games. If you haven't read all 3 Hunger Games books, don't listen to this part. I will never forgive Suzanne Collins for killing Finnick that way.
Oh yeah, I know he dies.
Oh,
because I've seen all of the memes about his death. I don't even really remember who he is. But
the worst. I was so upset.
It was just we didn't linger on it at all. It wasn't
no
even,
lingering.
there was just like, whoops, I guess we're leaving now.
No lingering for a fan favorite character.
Yeah.
Who was absolutely did not deserve it.
I think that's kind of it too, is like, I also, because here's the other thing. I'm like slowly like piecing together why I do things the way I do, which is you guys, because you write third person, you have more characters that people get attached to. And so you can have the lingering moments.
Some of them
or just
can
kill
be
somebody
spared.
more often. Yeah, some can be spared. I only have like a handful of characters.
Right.
So if somebody's gonna die, they have to have the lingering moment. Like you can't just be like, they died in battle, I saw them, go down or whatever.
Right.
Like, because there's only like 3-4 characters that the readers really know who they care about dying. So like,
yeah,
they have to have the moment. So I'm like, well, I can't. Also, I'd kill like half of my cast if I killed more than one character.
There they go. Drop them like flies.
There they go. Whoops. My bad.
Have you I'll pose this question. Wait, Carissa, did you have an example? Sorry.
Well, not of a bad one. I was gonna say I do think that the best example of how to do it well is Prim dying in the
See? So she did both. It was truly crazy to me.
Yeah. It's like, I know it sounds terrible to say that I love that Prim died, but in terms of theme and like consequences, that was like highest stakes. And you could kind of see it coming, and you understand why, but it still guts you.
Absolutely.
I think that's what you want to do. I just want to destroy my readers' lives emotionally. That's
the thing too, is like, I don't want to do that, because it destroys me emotionally, and I don't want to hurt everybody and myself also.
I love being destroyed emotionally. So much fun.
You need that good cry every now and
then.
then.
It's like how people like to watch tragedies or like for the catharsis. I don't experience catharsis with that. I've never have. I don't experience catharsis when I see sad stuff, like ever. So I'm also just like, my whole life is over.
See, this is the difference between us, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's such a sacrifice. I get no catharsis out of killing somebody.
Well, can't relate.
Yeah, I was about to say, Chris, that like give us, I guess you don't have to name names, but like, is there an example from something you've written where you've killed a character where it's like been notable or hard?
Or she's killed a character.
I killed a character in the book I've been writing, like just now. And I was writing it, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's kind of like partway through. And I originally didn't kill this person off. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I think they have to die. And so I took a break and I wandered around. I was like, yeah, I think they have to die. And I kind of like agonized over it for
their
a while.
life in your hands.
Yeah. I even wrote down a note. I was like, do I need to kill so-and-so? And I underlined it and I put question marks around it. And then I was like, yep, I have to. So then I did. And it was really hard, but it was so good for the story. It was so necessary because it totally motivates the main character from then on.
Yeah. You need that.
Yeah, totally.
That's why the one that I killed most notably in the series I published a while ago, like there's this death is it in the last book? It is. Okay, because I'm probably never going to rewrite and republish these, or if I do, it's going to be so different you won't even know. But basically there's this person that like the main character, it was 3 books that she's been trying to find this whole time, and then she finds them at the end of book 2, and then in book 3 they die. But like if it hadn't happened, like none of like the resolution would have happened. So and it was also kind of a full circle thing, and also there was like some like weird like twisty like motives going on, so everyone wasn't actually who people thought they were, but
you had to do it.
That time I was like, I have to do it. With this other character in the like the book, the one I said I'm querying in the second one, this character's gonna die, I could get away with not killing her. I just think it won't be my character will have less personal motivation if something deeply tragic doesn't happen in her personal life. So
yeah.
I think too, like you said, it happened in the 3rd book, right? I do think that with series, deaths kind of cluster around the end, because series are obviously like grander scales and people are more connected to the characters and the plot and everything, so you kind of have to give it that oomph. And so I've definitely noticed in the series that I've written, I think most of the deaths happen in the last 3 books, because it's 9 books, so 7, 8, and 9, it's like just death all over the place, right? And that happens in Harry Potter, that happens in Hunger Games. Where it's just like people start dropping because you need there to be consequences, and there is kind of a bittersweet I think catharsis in like people sacrificing for stuff and
It's true.
people paying that consequence either willingly, like, you know, Lupin in Harry Potter, or unwillingly, like Prim in Hunger Games.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well, and that's what where the stakes come in, where if all of these people died and then the protagonist doesn't succeed, it was all for nothing and everybody lost their lives. So it's so much worse. So that's so in that way is if that's how death raises the stakes, because it makes, if it wasn't worth it, if the deaths weren't worth it, this was not just heartbreaking. This was like the biggest tragedy of all time, and nothing is worth anything anymore. And it's just despair. So that's that's where
the deaths like make the consequences either total hope or total hopelessness.
Yeah, exactly. Because in one sense, if they succeed at the end, all of the sacrifices were worth it. Like they were all worthy and sacrifices and meaningful. Exactly. Otherwise, it's just all these people like gave their lives just to lose, which is awful. So
that is tough.
Yeah.
It's really rough.
Gonna go home and kill a character.
I know, I'm thinking about it now.
Who should go this time? Weighing their lives in my hands.
And once again, I'm thinking through the plot of the book that I just outlined. Nobody dies. Damn it. Do I have to kill somebody?
Ash, no, I love killing people off in books. In my books, in my series, no one dies in book 1. No one dies in book 2. And the first death is in book 3. Like people die kind of like in the background, but no one important dies until book 3.
I could see that happening. I can kill people in the coming books, but this book I was like, there's also like, I'm still trying to raise the stakes. So if somebody dies now, it just feels premature.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times in a first book, nobody will die. If somebody dies in a first book, I feel like it happens like at the end. Because then it's like the catalyst for book 2.
Yes.
Unless it's there's a lot of like, you know, I feel like usually when I'm writing something, people have already died at the start of the book.
You like to open with tragedy.
I think I usually
my book opens with a funeral.
I don't know why, but I think that's always
how
it is.
This book that I wrote starts right after her only family member died.
See,
like
exactly.
directly after.
Yeah,
it's a good catalyst because it motivates people.
Yeah, exactly. Because death is always a catalyst, or in books, it should always be a catalyst. You should never have somebody died and there was no effect from it. I think that's an example of don't kill them if nothing is going to result from it. Like if there's going to be no consequences.
Yes. I do think too, on the same note though, don't kill them just for the emotional impact. There does need to be a reasonable reason behind why they died. Like, is there a war going on? Is there like, are there other got in a random car accident? Yeah, like don't just kill them for the sake of it. But it's a good reason from the author's point of view to kind of manipulate things to the death. So
to the death.
What's the character death in a book that hit you like the hardest?
Okay, this is a really obscure example. Game of Thrones, Robb Stark.
I
was so devastated by this. I held on for 2 more books thinking he's not dead. He's going to come back. And he doesn't. Does he ever come back?
Anime revival.
No, I was so gutted. I remember reading this and everyone was like, "Are you okay?" No, I'm not okay. Robb Stark is dead. I loved him and he's gone.
I literally stopped watching the show because I found out he died.
Really?
Yeah, literally. I'll do that. Well, see, that's the thing. It's like if I'm watching something and I found out that the only person I loved or someone I loved died, like I'm done with it. So
that is something you have to be careful of. You have to make sure that there are enough favorite characters that killing one isn't going to make or break someone's interest.
Yeah.
If you only have like 2 characters in the whole series or whatever that people really like, and then you kill one, that's like you just lost half of your appeal.
It's true. That last one better be real interesting.
Yeah. It gets rough. Yeah.
That's sad.
I think that sometimes authors hit it like at the right spot whenever they kill kind of a fan favorite character, but they don't necessarily, they're maybe not the main character or like they don't have to be there for the plot to work really.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Man, I was completely gutted with this death that happened in the last Maze Runner book.
Yes.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
You guys, this is a writing podcast. You have to say it.
Well, I
Spoiler
don't know.
alert.
You haven't read
Okay.
it.
I don't care.
Okay.
I'll forget.
I spoiled
Don't
it for her
worry.
last week, so.
Oh.
And I literally have already forgotten, so don't worry. I'll forget again. I have no idea
Newt
what
was
we're
my
talking about.
favorite
Newt.
character. He's
I
the
love
favorite
him.
character. Everybody loves him.
So good.
The way he died was so tragic too. And James was like, I'm not pulling any punches.
Nope. It was awesome, but
was
also
like,
I hated it.
Will he be dead, but the main character will have to kill him.
Mhm.
Yes, and they were best friends.
Yep.
It
It was gut-wrenching. Yes.
Absolutely gutting.
For
And-
sure.
I can't do that. I can't.
But
do
I
that.
I don't hate him for it because I think he
Right.
did a good job with it.
Mhm.
But he was my
You
favorite
see why it
character.
happened. Like all of the events played into it. It wasn't just a random death
Yes.
where it didn't matter. Like you saw how it built up to it.
Yeah.
I feel like a sissy, honestly.
Also the fact that the whole time you think he's immune.
I know.
He's not.
Oh,
It's like
he was
just
the
piled on.
placebo.
It's unbelievable what he did to us. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm just like in shock over. I say I'm totally gonna forget who died.
It's
I've
fine.
already forgotten.
I'm glad you
Actually,
forgot.
I don't know who died. But hearing that
I
like
should
the
have prefaced
friend
that
had to
spoilers.
kill him. It's okay. I prefaced for you those
Okay.
spoilers.
It
I
was
see-
rough.
Just hearing that upset me so badly that I'm like, I don't want to be that upset reading the book. So I
Well,
feel
Ash,
like
okay,
part of
what's
this
a
is
death
also
that you liked? What's a death that you thought was done well?
Oh no, she's gonna cry.
Oh
Are you crying?
no. Okay, there's only been one death that I wasn't prepared for, and so I didn't have time to emotionally like steel myself to be like emotionless for,
Okay.
which was not even in a book. It was. They're gonna laugh. I'm like the ultimate dork for this.
Fucking fruits basket or something.
This is what I want to do to people, Ash. I want them to be like this.
Okay. Well, then you're gonna have to watch a series. I guarantee that you don't watch. So spoilers for Agents of Shield.
Oh, this
Oh.
one. I know this one.
I think it's like season 4 or 5. And Fitz, who is this precious Scottish scientist, and like he's just the ultimate. This is the only character I've ever fallen head over heels for that is in no way a bad boy. Like he is
Mhm.
just the purest, sweetest peach of a man. Like you just,
Yeah.
and he's also like such like a weirdo, like dork. And I just listen, I freaking love Fitz. And he's trying to find Gemma, the other scientist who's totally different. And they've like been in love since they were in college, but they just admitted it. And then she was basically kidnapped or whatever. And he spent seasons trying to get her back.
Oh my
he gets her
God.
back. And then, oh my God, there's this crazy scene. Everything else is going on. And listen, their love story is just a subplot. He's not the main character, but he is one of the main characters. And then you
Mhm.
get to the end and you're like, oh my God, they pulled off the impossible. Like they like beat whatever the issue was, and like it shouldn't have happened. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden you're like, hang on, what? Where's Fitz? And then you see Fitz and he's like, he's dying, and it's so bad. And it's bad because he's also in shock and he doesn't know that he's dying. And so oh my God, I've never listened. I don't really cry at books and movies. A, because I don't read the ones that have the deaths because it's not my style. And then B, when I sense it, if I do sense it coming, then I'm like, okay,
You
cool. I'm
detach.
just gonna not feel. I just
Mhm.
detach so I'm ready for it. I wasn't ready and it got me and I like sobbed and I couldn't stop. I've never in my life cried at movies and books, but I could not
God.
stop crying.
That is so sad.
Aw, sad
The way,
Ash.
I mean, I guess that go take notes, I guess. You will have to
Mhm.
watch like season 4 or 5 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and some of those moments are cringe, but I still love that show and I'll die for it. But
Well,
that death
like
got
Fitz.
me the most.
I think what they did. Chris.
Why would you say that
I
to me?
think what they did was you're giving a great example of
Thank you.
like that thing when the like happiest part of the story
Mhm.
and immediately goes down into the worst
Yeah.
part.
They're like,
because you
actually,
can't
we
be
don't
happy
want
for
you to be
too long.
happy.
And so
I was only happy
always
for like
think-
half a second.
right?
And
And
they
it's
took
like,
it away.
I always forget that this is the rule too until it's happening. As soon as
Mhm.
the bad thing happens, I'm like, I should have known, you know? 'Cause
I
it was
should have
too
seen this
happy.
coming. I know better.
And
I should have
that-
known. I should have known it's gonna be another season. But listen, here's some more spoilers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The end is never the end. And I love that about Marvel. So you know what?
You know, Fitz might come back.
He does.
Oh, he does come
But
back.
he straight up died. So it's a timeline thing, basically.
Oh, in like
So-
an alternate. thing.
It's an alternate timeline fits, but like they like then merge the timelines, and then that creates a whole other season of problems because don't cross the streams. So anyways, I will appreciate Marvel for that, but it's still that moment still wrecked me. Like I'm still not okay about it. But I think that's also why I don't like DC, is because it just feels like gratuitous death for the point of death and making people sad. Whereas when Marvel kills a character, like they play with it a lot. Like they are like, will we kill him? No, we won't kill him. Oh, we're gonna kill him. No, we're not gonna kill him. And then when
well, you're forgetting the DC has the concept of the Lazarus pit. The Lazarus pit is literally this giant pit where people go in. You can throw them in, and then they come back to life. This happens all the time in DC.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah,
I don't like that though.
DC is crazy.
But you like the alternate timeline?
Oh, I don't love it. This is one where I was like, Fitz could have stayed dead and it would have been more impactful. However, for my own enjoyment, sure, I'll take it. I'll take the I'll take the quote unquote resurrection. Fitz is back. But I would have accepted it. Like I don't want it to be against logic for a character to come back.
Right.
But if you can within like a logical reason bring them back, and it means something to the story,
satisfying.
Then it's really satisfying. But if you can't, then don't. And I do think Marvel crosses the line sometimes and like, oh, the person's not actually dead. And I was like, I don't buy it. I think they are.
Coulson.
Yeah. Coulson coming back multiple times. I was like, maybe the once I could buy, but then it happens like 3 other times. And I'm like,
see Supernatural.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I have my limits, but I do like that Marvel is like, they're not actually dead, or it's a different timeline, or it's like they have such a wide range. It's not like they just have the Lazarus pit. They have a wide range of excuses they use.
The timeline thing is exactly the same concept I'm talking about.
I know. But you're saying about with what?
With when I'm writing stuff. I'm like,
to do alternate scenes.
Other thing.
Yeah. And when I'm reading your stuff, I'll be fine with it. But if it's my own stuff, I can't do it. That's a real person to me. They're dead. Like their life has already happened.
People die in real life. This is my whole thing.
Yeah,
in real life people die.
Happened. Yeah.
And I just feel like there has to be a certain sense of realism there. I do get the idea of like,
I agree.
Reading is an escape. So there is that. But I also feel like there needs to be death, or else
I agree. And that's why I don't bring back that's also why I don't bring back the characters that I kill. For all my saying that I like that, like that's also why I'm really sparing, is because it's so hard to pull that off well, like that you can really justify bringing them back, that I've never done it. I don't bring them back. They're dead. They're dead forever.
I would be too complicated to try in world to bring somebody back. I'm just talking about like for my own sake.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. But the thing is, I can't. It doesn't work in my brain because I cannot justify it. It's not real.
Right.
But they're real and their death was real. So anything else is fake. So these fake characters that I created.
Yeah.
I
mean, that makes sense.
I think so.
I feel you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying
to know what else.
Questions about killing people.
I know.
I was thinking about like, what are some of the impacts? Because like how to make impactful. So we talked about like Prim. And I think the reason that was so impactful is because she was innocent. So killing off, I like to do that. I like to kill off innocent people.
Of course.
That is the worst.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I like to kill off the people who they were really bad and they deserved it, but then they reformed, but then they still have to pay penance and they die.
Ooh,
yeah, that's also good. I like
because
that.
I'm a big fan of that. I hate it when people are like, how could they? Like, okay, I'm very much sparing about villain redemption arcs. To me, I'm not forgiving enough to like really allow it unless it's Zuko. So, or somebody like that. So like, okay, here's an example. In like the last season of Stranger Things, everyone was so upset that they killed, not everybody, but some people were so upset that they like kind of redeemed Billy, but then killed him immediately. And I was like, I'm glad he's dead. You don't want him to stick around?
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. I'm like, okay, sure, he can have his little redemption moment. I'm fine with that. But why do we want all these villains to stick around?
I don't want him in the story anymore.
Exactly. So I'm always very much in favor of killing those kinds of characters.
Well, it reflects the fact that, I mean, this is how life is. Like, you can be sorry for things that you've done wrong, but you can't undo the hurt that you caused.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
never go back and make it better. And so I think that when you let a character die, who is, even if they've redeemed themselves somewhat, like they realize they were wrong and they hurt people, they can't undo what they've done. So the fact that they were a villain for whatever period of time remains true. And so there is that, like, the comeuppance, like their death is a comeuppance.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like, if they
Yeah.
were really truly sorry, if they really repented of that, then they should almost be okay with it. Like,
yeah,
that
Well, there
they're
is
like at
kind of
peace with it. Like, I've paid my
Yeah.
price now, I'm good.
yeah. And that's, a lot of those characters are like much more, I mean, I think most of those are. It's hard to picture a character who like realizes that they've been wrong and they're dying, being like, I like
Yeah.
freaking out about it. They
Usually
might be like,
they are like, yeah, okay.
I wish I, had done things differently, but usually they're
Mhm.
like, I understand,
Right.
because they also understand like that they deserve that. Or
Yeah, and
because
especially if
usually
they
in
die
these
to save
scenarios we're
someone.
talking about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously in these scenarios, we're not like talking about like, oh yeah, Bill from The Office, he's such a dick. Like, these are people who've like murdered people or caused
Yeah.
lots of death. And so then
That's
when
true.
they die, they're like, it's my
Yeah.
turn to die.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
very true.
Not like, yeah, I made fun
I
of
lied
Linda's
once.
kids the other day. And I lied once and now I deserve to die.
Yeah. This is like
Yeah, those are the ones
high,
who are like,
high level
"No, I had so much
crimes.
life left to live." Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about authors who kill their main characters.
No.
Oh,
That
I
is
have one
something
in
interesting
mind.
to me.
Interesting.
Well,
To
we
me-
have not, it could be good or bad. Like, for
how
example,
could it be good?
Veronica Roth.
There we go. That was mine.
Divergent. Yeah, exactly. Everyone hated that.
Oh yes, I've been told about this.
I
And I
loved
also
it.
hate it.
You loved it?
I loved it.
I'm
I
in
thought
shock
it was
right now.
I thought it was a full circle kind of like, yes, this makes sense to me. I know I'm in the minority. I loved it.
That's so I actually didn't
But
read
the
last book.
series, but the series is about her.
I know, but then it doesn't go on without her.
It does go on without her.
Doesn't for
Well, the world, but not the books. She dies at the end,
Is it at the end of that book she dies?
basically. They're
Is
like
it all
maybe
the way
5
at the end?
chapters. They're like 5
Okay.
chapters after.
Okay. I still don't like it, but I can accept it.
I did. I just, because you're in her head for like her decision to make that sacrifice, and I was just like,
Mhm.
gosh, this is so full circle and
Okay,
so
I can
good,
accept that.
and like she dies to save her brother, who like totally does not deserve it at all, but you're like,
Mhm.
gosh, she still loves him anyway.
Yeah.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
did. I didn't like the 3rd book. I think like the first half could have been cut, but I
Yeah.
liked that, justified it to me in my head. So
Yeah.
I did like it.
Mhm. It was definitely brave of her, I think.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like a major YA, like very
Mhm.
popular series. To
Mhm.
do that for that kind of series is crazy.
It was
to
very
me.
brave.
And then you leave 4 behind.
Yeah, see,
And
that is
that's-
wild too.
Mhm. Like sometimes if you
think,
kill
yeah.
both of them, it's like, oh, okay, they can be together in the afterlife. But 4's still
Mhm.
around, so you're like, gosh, what is he
Yeah.
gonna do?
I think that's the thing you have to remember when you kill off a character. Like, the tragedy is not the loss of their life. The tragedy is how it affects everybody else. So
Yes.
now 4 is alone. And this
Mhm.
whole time we're like seeing them fall in love and rely
Right.
on each other and, be besties. And now he
Yeah.
has to go on the rest of life without her.
Without her,
That's the
I know.
tragedy. It's not her dying necessarily.
Right.
It's the tragedy.
Mhm.
So that's, every death should have like a ripple impact on,
Mhm.
and it should be an obvious one.
I mean, and this is kind of like a worldview thing, but in my mind, like once people are dead, like they're okay, if that makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
they're like
Same.
safe now in a sense, like they can't be hurt anymore. So
Mhm.
it's not sad on their behalf all the time. It's sad on behalf
Yeah.
of the person left behind. Like, do they feel
Yeah.
guilty? Do they miss them?
Yeah.
Could they have done more? That kind of thing. And so
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
where the real impact is, which is why I think off screen and on screen can work.
Yeah.
Because it's really not about the person dying all the
No.
time. Sometimes
It's about the
just
people
about
left behind.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's very, very true.
So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think The Outsiders is a prime example of that.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's a great death too. Like,
It
he
is.
is the best character in the book. And I
Mhm.
had that reaction when I was reading it. Like, I was very sad because of who he was as a character, that he
Mhm.
died, because he was so precious to me. And
Yep.
so I was like, he is the best character here. But then also the ripple effect on the other characters is like so textbook, honestly. Like,
good.
So intense.
it's really crazy. It's like some people like like one character completely died because of it, like lost it, and then the other characters kind of like find strength from it. It's like really interesting.
I think if you are this is related but not exactly the same thought. I'm thinking of like series and stuff. I think if you're like getting to like the like last book or last couple books in a series, or I guess if you're just gonna have like, oh, Flora's got her little mousy.
Ash just needs a distraction.
I do, because I can't talk about death this much. But like, or if you're just doing like a standalone series and it's like one book, I think if you're like, I really need to start to bring things to a head, how do I really bring on the climax? There should always be one character in a book who has things more together than everybody else. And a lot of times that's the person who everyone else kind of leans on. I would say in the Tiger's Curse series, this is going to be spoilers for you for Tiger's Curse series. Do you care? Do you want to block it? You want to close your ears?
Just tell me, I might forget.
Okay.
By the time I finally read it.
Well, basically, so through the whole series, basically, everything is getting bad. And then you kind of get to the point where like, it's like book 3 or 4 or something. You're like, okay, things are like bad, but like, it's almost kind of like, you're like, how can things really get worse? Because you need one more final push to get to that last climax. Like one more thing needs to go horribly wrong. This is a good time to kill somebody, but who do you kill? How about you kill the person who keeps everybody sane? Like there's always one character that everybody relies on to keep them sane. And in that moment, Mr. Kadam dies.
Dang it.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, that's sad.
I know. I hope you forget so you can still enjoy it. No, it's not. It's really not surprising because it's kind of like those deaths are not like surprise deaths. They're very predictable.
Like the like wise figure.
Yeah, but they're almost like they have to happen because then the rest have to like stand on their own.
It's like
or
the
drown on
Dumbledore
their
syndrome.
own.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And some characters don't succeed after that, like without that person that they were leaning on. So you need to have that too. They needed that. And you really see how everything shakes out after that, like when that person who kind of had it all together dies. So if you're like, who do I kill off in my character? I'm getting close to the end of my book or my series, and you've got that one character that's more stable than everybody else. I'm just saying,
go for it. Go for the jugular.
Well, isn't that the way that it goes in real life? Yes. It seems it's always the people who you're like, that person of all people, that person. Like I'm just saying, like that's how you're gonna hit people in the feels because that's what life does all the time, and also it's because that has the biggest ripple effect.
Yeah, I think it's the extremes. You either go for the wise, leader who has their life together and they're the lean on character, or you go for the innocent one that really had no business being targeted at all.
Yeah,
and that's
because
like where
they're like
the
equal parts tragedy.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Agree. This is sad.
This is sad.
I feel like I'm smiling a lot and I don't know how else to handle it because I had some relatives die this last year, and whenever anyone would ask me about it, I would start smiling because I don't know how to handle it otherwise. And so I'm like, please don't judge me for smiling. It's not like I'm happy. I just don't know what else to do.
I have a bad habit of laughing when I'm witnessing arguments, like serious arguments. And it's like
you're trying to lighten the mood.
I do that too.
Yeah. Well, because it's like kind of like lightening the mood, but also kind of like I know me being like upset is not going to make this better. And you're like, but I have so many feelings they have to come out somehow. I'm not going to like contribute to the chaos. Instead, I'm going to sit here and smile and laugh. And I got in trouble like last year in an argument between like family members. This was happening because all of a sudden one of them turned to me and they were like, are you laughing right now? Do you think this is funny? And I was like, no, as I'm laughing.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not laughing. Please leave me alone.
I don't think it's funny. I was like, no, I swear this is not funny at all.
Yeah.
Even though it really sounds like I think it's funny.
Right.
This is even in hindsight. I was gonna say in hindsight it's funny. It's not. In hindsight, it's still stressful, and I would still laugh uncomfortably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only have one coping mechanism.
Laughter. Humor.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say alcohol.
Well, I was about to say another character that gets killed a lot, I think, is comic relief.
Yeah. Comic relief goes. Mercutio.
Yeah. Kind of the one where you're like, it's almost like they didn't have any business being here.
Well, and also it makes it less funny. So it's like the tone can take a suddenly dark shift because the humor character isn't there.
Right.
That's very true.
And they're always kind of the ones who are, it's almost worse because
like if anyone
like
they didn't deserve it.
Yeah, like if anyone, you're like, oh, come on, that
one of ever. You could have killed
the one that made me happy.
Exactly. Exactly. That's true.
Or it also like if they're the ones who like joke about it, like a Mercutio.
Yeah. I kind of think this is why I have never forgiven Shakespeare.
Ash has a beef with Will Shakespeare here.
I really do, and it's absolutely
Mercutio?
yeah. This is where it
my
started.
God.
Was because he was the first Shakespeare character I ever cared about and nay loved. And then he died, and I was like, I'll never forgive you, Shakespeare. You have no taste. I can't believe you would kill the only character I've ever loved of your creation. And I'm still upset about it. I'm going to die upset about it. Like, I'm never not going to be upset about this. That's probably why
Mercutio would be glad to
Little
know
known
he's got
facts.
shooters still, you know?
He does. Little known fact, I'll
this.
never forgive Shakespeare for killing him.
That's so funny. That's how I feel about Rob Stark. I'm just like, why?
Oh, yeah. That
All
was
of the people.
unbelievable.
I know.
Oh, man.
I'm still mad about it, honestly.
Was there anything else that we want to say about killing characters? Words of warning, words of encouragement?
I mean, here's the thing. You don't want to be Game of Thrones level killing off people. I don't think that's necessarily what you want to go for. I talk a lot about it. I still don't think that's necessarily the best strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You do want to give people something to latch onto. You do want to create a sense of anyone can go so that there's tension.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to be like where people are essentially detaching because they're afraid it's going to be anyone.
Right, yeah.
So,
Yes.
I mean, there's a middle ground between no deaths and Game of Thrones level death. And you just got to find the tone of your book somewhere in between there, I think.
Yeah, it's true. I think probably like the biggest takeaway that I've learned from this discussion with y'all is you choosing who you kill and when you kill them makes more difference than how many people you kill.
Oh, yeah.
So, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You want to do it right.
Anything else about killing off characters?
I think we've said it all.
I think so.
We've said everything to be said about the
I
topic.
think
We can stop
no
discussing
cap,
it now.
guys.
No cap. We said that better than anyone ever could have or ever will.
Yeah,
Full stop.
exactly.
Do people still say full stop?
I said it the other day, but that doesn't mean that people still say it.
So no is what you're saying.
No, probably not. Actually, yeah. If I say it, the answer is no. People do not say that anymore. What about? Okay, so this is I know that my updates in this area will be underwhelming. I don't know about the Dukes, but I know Lewis over there has some very exciting writing updates for us.
I do.
Yeah.
So you will recall that last episode I talked about how I was writing. I don't even remember what I said. How far was I? I said I was like 20,000 words in maybe of this new book idea I had.
Yeah, and then you text me the next day and you're like 50,000 words. And then yesterday you're like done. And I'm like,
I finished
I'm sorry, what?
I finished it Sunday. It took me 6 days to write 85,000 words. And
Wow.
She beat me. She beat my record.
I am so proud. I know. I'm like, I feel like I'm pulling an Ash, right?
You
Except
totally
it wasn't
pulled an
miscalculation. It was on purpose.
It was intentional. So actually it was better.
Yeah, because I had all of these ideas and they just like I'd had it planned out a little bit, but they all just suddenly came to me in like the way that I wanted to write them. And I was like, I need to ride this high because it is gonna go away if I don't just take advantage of it. So I just sat and I wrote for like 6 days straight, and I'm so proud of it. It's so good. I mean, the last first draft of like a book length book that I wrote was probably when I was like 17 or 18. So I was still very much in like the learning stages of writing. Yeah. And now like, gosh, I know first drafts are bad, but this is the best first draft I've ever written. Yeah. And I'm so excited about like, I'm going through and editing already. I'm only like 20 pages into the edit, but it's already like really good. Like there's nothing that I've written that I'm like, gosh, that was so stupid. What was I thinking? And so it's awesome. All just like picking out like better word choice and like the sentence structure. And there's a certain like themes and like character traits that I finally got to at the end that I'm like, okay, now I want to put those back in the beginning. But gosh, it's just I'm so proud and I'm so excited of it.
What can you tell us about this book?
Okay. I think because it is in the first chapter, this is what I'm going to tell everyone. So it is historical. It's like in the 1800s, but like in a magical country that I created. So I don't know how how much of a gauge that is.
Oh my God, I love it.
And essentially it takes place in this town, and this town has 3 really unique things about it. Okay. One is that they once had a time traveler. So they're a time traveler going around. 2, their magic is categorized, and that's like not a thing in the rest of the country. So they have it by family, and like the rest of the country kind of looks down on them for this, but they're really proud of it. And then the 3rd is that they are the last stop on the way to this lake that no one really knows if it exists, but it's said to be able to like grant immortality and like heal all, like cure all ills and that kind of thing. So people come through trying to find the lake, but they never come back. And so the main character, like one day these 2 people show up and she's like, I like you. I don't want you to get lost and never come back. So I'm going to take you. And then it begins. And I'm just so excited.
My God.
And that's like not even like, that's just the basic premise. That's only like the first 3 chapters or so, but
That's so exciting.
it's so exciting.
That sounds
I'm
really
really excited
good.
about the twist. I'm really excited about the
Oh, I love a
characters.
twist.
I know we just talked about twists. Well, we just did an episode on that plot twists.
I know, and I think that might be why I was so into writing it, because we'd had that conversation. So I was like, gosh, I'm so excited about this. I'm so ready to get it out there. So.
Yeah, that's how I felt when we had our magic systems episode. I was like, okay, I have 1 million ideas. So it is time to write.
It's so good. So anyway, I was telling my parents about it, and my dad was like, okay, tell me about your least interesting character. And I was like, okay. So I told him, and he's like, you should make him really into lettuce. I was like, okay, so there's a character now that's really into lettuce, and he is 6 years old, and it's weird, but I'm gonna go for it. It's gonna be his character quirk.
So
my cabbages. It's him as a kid.
Yeah,
he moves on to cabbage later.
His origin story.
Exactly. It's his prefix.
Oh my god.
Prefix of his life.
Yeah, Laura's totally in your purse.
That's okay.
Just anyways,
I've just been so happy, and I'm just, gosh, it's so fun.
So
I love
exciting.
writing so much.
Have you practiced your like back jacket pitch?
A little bit. It's hard because like the things that I think are really great about it are the twists, so I can't give those away.
I know.
So I'm trying to figure out, how do I make it sound interesting from the beginning? So I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
I'm trying to get through this one edit, and then I'm probably going to send it to you, and I'm probably going to send it to Lexi, and then you guys can give me feedback, and maybe you can help me pin down what that'll be. But
I'm so
Kendall,
excited.
you can read it too if you want.
I would love to.
Oh my god,
Okay.
this is so exciting. I see the book that I haven't finished, and now you've totally shown me up after I've been like, I'm the master speed writer, and then you went and did that. So I
the first time it's ever happened to me.
Crazy. It's amazing. I want to do it so bad. I need like a week when there's like no holidays and no work.
And you have to just be really in the vibe, really in the mood. Like you can't put, like, I pushed through a couple of times where I was like, okay, just keep writing, and then it solves, like the writer's block solved itself. But you have to just be really,
you have to like be in that mood, and you have to be in that mood when you magically also have time, which is like that's the hard part, because I've been in the mood a few times now, which is exciting because often like when it's like, I feel like it's not a lasting idea that just kind of stops happening, but it keeps coming back for this book that I'm working on. And I pitched it to you, and then I pitched you the plot twist, and they were both good. But now I'm like, I'm thinking I have an excellent pitch, because I also pitched it to my mom.
It was
the
a
same
really
reaction.
good pitch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But see, now that was so long ago that I'm like, damn it, I forgot my pitch. I should have like recorded myself.
You should have.
Yeah, that was a shame. Anyways, my writing updates are that I think I went in and I was like, I don't like this word, and I changed it, and then something happened, and I was like, I have to go take care of life now. I didn't get to work on it anymore. I literally changed a word, and I remember being like, okay, and now I'm gonna change the rest of the sentence, bit by bit, like working my way through it. And I only got to change the word, and then like people got here or something, and I was like, screw my life. Anyways, that's my update. It's very sad. What you?
The other day I was just writing in like my notebook, and I wrote what I believe the like confession of love scene will be in this new thing I'm writing.
Oh my
God.
God.
That was really fun. It started off with like an argument, and then I was like, wait, they are definitely going to tell each other they're in love. And then they did.
Oh my God.
It was pretty fun.
I love those moments.
Yeah.
That's so my vibe. This is
the first time I've ever written characters that were kind of like antagonistic to lovers.
Yeah.
They're not enemies, but like, I don't know.
I'm so excited.
Usually I like characters where they're
Friends
like already in love.
Yeah.
Or they just kind of fall in love.
That's true. You kind of like a Wheel of Time. Did you ever read Wheel of Time? Now it's an Amazon show. Well, that other book that you sent me that you did a while ago, which I, by the way, think is still really amazing, and you should try to query. But anyways, it's a fantasy, and they start out and they're kind of in love. It's so like the same vibe as these two characters in Wheel of Time, and how it starts out in the book and in the show. But like, just your book and that are the only ones I've ever read that have started.
I love Already in Love. I think it's cute because but then the people don't like it because then the problems come from things like happening later. People like it when the problems are like happening and then they fall in love.
No, I like it because you have a whole cast of characters, so anything could happen with your other characters.
Yeah.
If it was first person, I don't think either. That wasn't first person, was it?
No.
I didn't think so. Then maybe it would be more limiting, but I think you have more options because it's third person.
I also think it could be nice, like the conflict doesn't always have to come from oh no, now it's are they in love?
Yeah.
It could be like them already being in love and then they just have to like do stuff together.
You still have to navigate that. There's still stuff after the declaration of love.
Right. It's not like that's it forever.
Like Fitz and Simmons, like they're already in love.
Yes, exactly.
And then like the plot keeps tearing them apart. And then
Here, Ash.
Together. Yes, see,
I'll distract
it's kind of fun
you.
when they get torn apart.
I have another
But
example.
you know they're still in love.
What's your other example?
Okay, so this book, it's called The Last Voyage of Poe Blythe. I think I recommended it once. Essentially, the character, the love interest guy, dies like in the first chapter. And then the rest of the book is kind of doing flashbacks about how they fell in love and stuff. So you still feel like you're getting to know him.
That sounds
it is
horrible.
also gutting. It is so like wonderful and awful at the same time.
Sorry, that
and I
was
love
terrible. That sounds
I would never. Absolutely not.
I mean,
So
it
things
sounds
can
like
still
it's
happen.
very well written, I'm sure.
No.
But the emotional toll
Right.
of knowing the whole time that he's dead.
No.
You should definitely be prepared if you're going into that book, but
It
it's so
does
good.
not sound bussin'.
It is bussin'. No
Does
cap.
not sound- No cap. We've literally learned like 2 new words and we're just gonna use them over and over again. I'm sure there's other ones. Yeah, what else would be? There was something I was gonna say, I don't remember. Oh, you said that your thing is that you always write characters that start out as like existing love interests. I always start out with characters that are like, I hate love. I'll never find love, and I don't want to find love because I hate love. I'm like, dang it!
Yes,
oh
you
no,
do.
I do this every single time.
I do. I
See, that's
texted
why it's fun
Ash
to
when
branch out.
Thank you.
yeah, I texted Ash when this happened. I was writing like what I thought was gonna be like the kiss scene, right? Like the moment between 2 characters, and I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. It's not right. They're telling me no. So then I was like, Ash, my characters won't let me make them kiss.
This is my problem. This is my problem. People are like, there's not enough romance in your books. And I'm like, they won't let me. They don't want to be romantic. I keep
They're not there
trying
yet.
to create romantic moments. Like I'll literally put them in a romantic, like there's literal wine, a storm outside. They're drenched in the rain, high emotions. They're standing an inch away. And I'm like, romance. And they're like, I freaking hate you. I'm
like no.
Oh
It
man.
happens all the
Force it.
times.
Or the
People
plot
who
just
are
like
not writers.
interrupts. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't get
people
it.
who are not writers do not understand how in control the character are. Really not my call.
This is not my call. So just so everyone who reads my stuff knows, and you're like, why isn't there more kissing? Because they won't do it. I'm trying to make
Be
them
angry
kiss.
with the
They
stupid
refuse to
characters.
kiss.
They refuse to kiss. This is not Barbie dolls. I can't just smash their faces together. They say
Yes.
no. It's very annoying.
Yes,
God.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I do
Well,
love
any
the
other-
confession of love scenes.
Oh, it's the
So that's
most fun
exciting.
to write.
Do we have any other writing updates?
No.
No, just a thing
Sadly
now.
not.
Oh, same.
Feeling really confident. Wait, a lot of people on TikTok talk about imposter syndrome. And like,
Uh-huh.
I feel that, but also I don't get it because I
No.
feel like maybe a little too confident. Is that relatable? Anyone else? No?
Sometimes, I guess.
I don't feel like I relate to either side of this issue whatsoever.
Oh, okay. Kendall looks
These
stunned.
are not. Here's the thing.
You're looking at her like, what?
I'm
I'm
trying
just
to
trying to
relate.
imagine somebody never having imposter syndrome.
No.
I'm glad you
I
guys
I do
don't.
sometimes, but
I
not right
definitely
now.
think. I definitely. Not in the sense that people talk about it. I definitely like don't think a lot of my work is good as a writer, like when I distance myself. But the thing is, I'm very rarely thinking about my books or my writing as like something that I created. I'm just like, these are real people that exist.
Yeah, fair.
Like, it's so real that I just really rarely think about it as like, oh, my writing. I don't actually think that I'm that. When I think about it, I do the thing like that if we were villains, all the actors do, where they're like, actually, secretly, I think I'm a really bad actor. I'm like, secretly, I think I'm really not very talented as a writer at all. And so in that sense, yes, like I'm like, why am I devoting my life to this? I'm not in any way remotely on the level that I should be doing that. But then also when I try and like think about it, about my books, I'm like, I didn't write that book.
This book just appeared.
It's a weird mix of things.
I didn't write that book. I
I will say, I think
though, because like we said, like
Yeah.
kind of have minds of their own.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't like, so what it is I'm like, maybe I didn't, record the events as well as I could have. But the events themselves, I had no control over.
Right.
You're just the scribe.
I'm just the scribe. That is really what it feels like. I feel like
Just
a
a
crazy
voyeur.
person. I'm literally just.
If a
recording
non-writer
things.
heard this, they would literally be like, what are you talking about?
This whole episode is like, are they psychopaths? No.
I feel like
both.
each of us seem very crazy in very different ways.
I like
So
it.
good.
I like it about us.
It's all
We're
kinds.
all equally crazy, like legitimately crazy.
a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was thinking about this the other day. My mom's side of the family is like the most normal family you can possibly fathom. They're all like, like accountants and teachers and like very normal people. And they're very
Mhm.
interesting and fun.
And
but
you're
like
like,
they're very
I kill
normal.
people for fun. in
Yeah.
books.
I'm like, I'm sitting here alone in a room killing people for fun. What did you do this weekend?
Yeah.
I'm so the black sheep. It's so weird.
My whole family is crazy.
So you fit in. I see.
Yeah, yes and no. I don't feel particularly connected to the rest of my family. Like, I don't have that much family left. Like my immediate family, I guess they seem crazy, but like in normal ways, like normal types of crazy. Like everyone's kind like more like dramatic, kind of crazy. And then I'm like legitimately can't remember what was real life and what was the book. Like,
Yours sounds
Like a
better.
little-
so like I don't seem like the black sheep of the family because I seem on the outside like, I kind of fit in, like it's like they seem more dramatic than me, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
then like secretly I'm like not sure what's real
You
most
do
of
any
the time.
amount of digging and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, any amount of digging and you're like, oh, I see, she's not like normal human drama, quote unquote crazy. She like legitimately is unaware of reality crazy.
It's different.
It's different. It is different. That's the nicest
Yeah.
thing you can say.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways. Oh man.
What an interesting talk we've had today.
This is a lot of things have come out. Do you love us now? Do you hate us now? Can you relate? Are you like, I'm never listening to this again, and also they might all be serial killers?
Yeah.
We're not. But isn't that what we would say if we were? And isn't that what we would say if we were? See, this could go on forever. I'm feeling extra crazy
It's
right
impossible.
Yeah, the craziness got ramped up in here. I can
now.
feel
Listen,
it.
have you guys watched Girl Interrupted?
Yes.
It's on my list because I'm a
Don't.
Winona stan.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it.
No, listen. Carissa, were you there when I watched it in college?
Yes, I was gonna say, I think you were the one that had to watch it, or Marianne made us watch it, or
I
something.
think Marianne made us watch it. And oh my God, you guys.
That's a very
I was like,
anxiety-inducing
for
film.
like 3 days. I was like, I can't. Am I the girl interrupted? I was legitimately, because it's all these girls in like a mental institution, and like they all have legitimate problems. And after watching it, I was like, oh my God, I related way too much to everything that happened in this movie, and now I think I might actually like have really big issues.
Oh,
And for like
no.
3 days, I was like almost catatonic, which I
No.
was like, this is
Oh,
not,
no.
and I could tell my reaction was also bad.
You're like,
Like, this isn't a
looking
normal
good.
reaction to this movie if I'm normal.
Does not look exactly. I was like, if I was a normal person, I don't think I'd feel this way.
Oh no.
Anyways,
Well, also, you're an actor. You perhaps
Yeah.
you put yourself. Maybe that's your thing. You just put yourself too much into the situation.
this is what I'm saying about that. If we were villains, like that's
Yeah.
why that book, I was like, I can absolutely see how these people spiraled, because it becomes
Mhm.
like when you play so many characters, and that is exactly how I feel about my characters in my books, is the same way I feel about acting them. It gets so hard to sort out after a while which one was you and which one was the character. Like it gets really hard, and everything that you wrote into that character or that you acted, you keep pieces. You are never the same person after you've acted a
Mhm.
character or written a character. You are never the same person that you were before, because you have all these new things, and
Right.
like it never goes away. So it's true. It's like, it's just a headache to try and think about.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not gonna watch Girl Interrupted again, ever, probably.
Good call.
I don't
I'm
recommend
sorry
it.
you had such a bad experience
really
with
bad
Girl
time.
Interrupted.
Well, anyways, follow us on social media.
Mortal.
Where we are also not normal.
Oh my
No, it's true.
God. I'll be posting my review of Girl Interrupted. Follow my Letterboxd account. please.
I will not be reading it, but everybody go check it out. You can can also read all of her reviews of Keanu movies.
That's true. I do have them all up there. Follow my Letterboxd.
When she says all, she means all. How can they find you on Letterboxd?
I don't remember my name. I'll just post it on my I'll post it on the podcast.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, you follow the Scripturian Society. That's where Carissa and my stuff go for this podcast, or you can follow that Pretentious Book Club. I recommend following both. Obviously, I'm a part of both, so I've got to fit in both worlds. I'm a foot in like a million worlds. And so on Instagram, you can find like fun bookish content on TPBC. The Scripturian Society is like little summary stuff, writing tidbits here and there. If you're like a writer or an author and you're like, I love daily motivation, let me tell you, the Scripturian Society Instagram is for you. If you're like, hey, I love to laugh, that's when the Scripturian Society TikTok is for you, because Griffs puts all kinds of fun stuff up there. My imposter syndrome comes in with the TikTok account, actually. With the TikTok. With our That Pretentious Book Club TikTok. But so that also exists, and you can go to it if you're brave. I make no promises about the contents of that one. If you guys have ideas for episodes, some stuff that you'd like to hear us talk about as far as writing goes, you guys can email us at contact@storysirenstudio.com. That's our production company. If you guys want some merch, and I think you do because like it's really cool, you can go to storysirenstudio.com.
Of course you want the merch.
Of course you want the merch. Now we've got Scripturian Study merch, and listen, guys, I'm like preparing to spend so much money after this house thing, because right now I'm like, Ash, you can't spend any money. And I'm like, but there's so much new merch and I want all of it. So guys, let me live vicariously through you. Please go get some, because it's exciting. If you post a picture that will shout you out in the episode, I don't know if you care. Yeah. I don't know if this is the group that cares about that, because we're all writers and we're like anonymity. But woohoo. Let's see if there's anything else that I missed. Oh, I don't think so. You guys can join our Patreon if you want to join our writing group. It is free to join. You can also, donate money if you want to support us, but you don't have to. You can literally just join the writing group, and we can talk about writing and how to kill characters and whether or not Ash is actually crazy, because she's really thinking she might be now.
No, you're normal.
Send help.
Everyone, tell her she's normal.
They're like, it's okay, you're normal.
Breathe.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week for our usual episodes. Oh, if you haven't, you can check out Katherine has started putting out minisodes. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, and I can't remember if we talked about it last episode, but you can go to Katherine's Corners minisodes now, and she talks about a bunch of books, good ones, bad ones. She talks about what makes them good or bad as a writer from a literary perspective. So yeah, those are super fun, and they're really well done.
Congrats on that,
she's so intellectual and like together in these episodes. Thanks. Like she talks about them, I'm like, her stream of thought never wavers. It's amazing. I cannot relate. But if you guys want some truly high quality book review type content, go to her minisodes.
Yeah, don't go to the That Pretentious Book Club.
That's not.
Those are for the fun part. Those are for the comedy hour.
It's for the comedy and everything else.
It's for the incompetence.
It's for the
incompetence. Do you crave the incompetence? You want to hear
incompetent
me talk
book
about
reviews?
Books?
Do you want to hear talk about Keanu Reeves?
I will bring more Keanu onto the pod if it's what you want. I will make that sacrifice for you guys. I'm willing to do it. It's not what I want.
Just let her know.
Want, Ash.
Yeah,
they want to hear me do it.
I'm sure they do.
I will sacrifice our relationship for you guys to enjoy more content about Keanu Reeves on our book podcast.
As anyone would.
Oh my goodness. Well, until next week, everybody. Keep writing.
And we'll see you on the next page.